Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is Legends with Ravi, and we are back with another episode of this great show where we get to talk to legends of the game. I haven't seen Ravi in a long time, so obviously I'm very excited to have a chat with him now. And obviously, we have an amazing guest to kickstart it once again. Someone that is you can really say that he's a true legend of domestic cricket and of the game in South Africa in general. How many people that he's helped, how many players that he's helped through the years with his experience and his knowledge of the game, etc. So it's a real stalwart of the game, and I think we're really excited that we're going to be talking to Henry Davids today on the show. But I thought that, as per usual, how I introduce Ravi normally he picks a song that we play for his intro. Today, I've decided to pick a song. So he doesn't know what we're playing. He's a bit nervous at the moment. But let's go with it. I thought that it would make sense for him. Eh? Asad Ravi.
Did you Google 1996 and this is the first thing that came out?
It's just a typical P4 radio type of
Basically,
jam,
myself and Joey Rusty that knows the song. Nobody else in the country knows the song, honestly.
No, I really thought that. I just thought that with your comeback, in a way you can have a song that makes sense. It was between that or Hot Steppers. I didn't know what I was gonna go with.
I could guarantee Henry David danced to the song at Galaxy once upon a time in his life. We'll ask him that tonight. Thankfully, I was actually worried. I thought you were going to play Glory, Glory, Man United. And I think that's not the territory we want to enter.
No. Let's briefly talk about that because it's been what a heartbreaking couple of days it's been for us, both of us. Actually, I didn't send you any messages.
We should bring Mr. David on because he's a devout Liverpool fan as well. So I think he's got. I think he's also sharing some pain. I think he's got a bit of pain of his own.
I don't think we're going to talk about football. If we talk about football, we're going to get into massive debates on the show. So I don't think after the heartbreak that we went through this weekend in the transfer market, I'm not really going to talk about that right now.
Even Mourinho felt sorry for us. That's the sad part about all of it.
Exactly.
He was like, nah, I'm not going to celebrate, man. Maybe a bit of a air, pump, on the side. But other than that, he gave Ole a hug. He's like, I'm sorry, man.
Also to the guys turning in under Regional, thank you for joining the show. You can ask any questions that you want and we'll pose it to Indy a little bit later. But how we always start the show is with Ravi giving us an introduction of the guest that we have on the show today. But before we get started, of course, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to click that notification bell for future videos, of course. So Ravi, just give me a quick introduction. Henry Davids. I mean, yes, I've spoken to him before. I've interviewed him before, and what an amazing person, what an amazing human being, what an amazing cricketer. There's only good things that I can say about him. But from your perspective, what struck you? What made you want to pick him as a legend for today's episode?
No, absolutely. So I knew of Henry in his Boerland days as well. We were young men, and we used to watch quite a bit of 4-day cricket at the time at that level as well. And then eventually he made his debut for the Cobras, and that's where I got very familiar with Henry David's sort of attacking style of batting. And I really enjoyed watch him play for the Cobras particularly. And you're going to notice I'm going to emphasize the Cobras the whole time, not so much the Titans. We're going to talk a lot about the Cobras. In case the young fans aren't aware. Henry Davids was a Cobras player, just to cut all rumors and speculation, It's like those Newcastle fans that talk about Andy Cole, back in the day, Nobody remembers Andy Cole for Newcastle, they remember him for United,
Of course.
It's like that. But no, he was an exceptional player. I felt that the Cobras team at that point in time had a very exciting young team, quite a balanced squad, and it's unfortunate we never won any of the big accolades, never won any of the big trophies, because even at that time we had Alan Dawson was also still playing for the Cobras at that point in time. He said we had Jacques Callis make an odd appearance here and there, and Henry was scoring some vital runs for us at the time. And when he made a transition over to the Titans, he just got from you just grew from strength to strength. You just got better, like a fine
Yeah.
wine, one may say.
Yeah, no, there's only good things I've heard about him. Obviously, when I've spoken to some of the guys as well, the likes of Aiden Markram and stuff, they can't stop talking about how he's helped them in their game. So it's so important to have him in the system. So I think it's perfect time now to bring Henry on the show. And let's talk to him and actually find out about his career. It's a lot better if we bring him on than we just baffling about it. So let's do this. I'm not going to play Return of the Mac for his entrance. I'm
Now you
ready
play
to
it,
that for
man.
your
Come on, just play. You all know the song.
so we
play,
now so what we're going to do is welcome Henry David. Welcome to the show.
It's a good thing I tuned in earlier.
Already disconnected it.
Come on, he knows the song.
Oh, thank you very much.
10 years ago. Come on.
Oh no, that's a proper tune. You know, days there in the Empire nightclubs. You know, we sneak off to go clubbing, Return of the Mac as you walk in.
God, I mean, it's a galaxy number that everybody knows that.
No, it is.
Except for Khalid, you know, he's a good boy. He doesn't dabble.
No, we didn't like look here. Now I'm very well. Thanks. How are you guys?
No, really good. I'm really excited about this episode.
You look the same as the day you made the Davis in
Oh, thank you very much. Just good days. Look here, I know you're a massive Cobra fan, but yeah, no, it was great days.
I gave it away.
Obviously. We spoke a couple of times. I remember we were on a show together. Well, you obviously got all the points in that show with in that quiz thing, and I think I just overdid talking about the Titans. You said, no, you need to mention the Cobras as well.
Andy actually got us a vital point in that quiz.
Cheapest, yeah, at the end. Some tennis something, eh?
Tennis. And the thing is, all of us were pretty much bamboozled. Tennis players have won Grand Slams in the early 2000s. And Henry came in with a curveball of sorts, with an answer in the form of Goran Ivanisevic. Do you know who that is, Khalid?
No, I don't know who that is.
One of the best serves you'll ever see.
How can you not know? He was one of the biggest servers ever. Well, that's why I know. Big left-handed server. Smoked it.
And he only won one Grand Slam, if memory serves. But that was the one that counted, I guess.
Yeah. And he used the heavier racket or something as well.
I heard about Agassi because of my parents, and I lived in the later stages of I could say the middle stages of obviously Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. I mean, I'm a massive Djokovic fan and a Federer fan, so like one of those type of situations. I mean, I didn't watch tennis for so long. I've only more recently that I started getting tennis actually in the last 5-6 years. So.
Well, did you see Djokovic's default? Did you see that? He just hit the ball by accident to Matt
the second one or the first one? He hit the guy again the other day, and he like, oh sorry, I didn't mean it. But that was but by accident. He almost like shanked it or something. Oh, I don't know if you get a shank in tennis, and hit the guy like splash on the head.
Oh my goodness! Now they take us so seriously, but this guy hit the ball, and it went straight to his auntie's throat. But it was like a lofted, it was like a light thing, man.
I think it was blown out of proportion a bit, though.
No, she was.
It was. I think she was loving it, though. You could see she was loving the TV time.
She looked like a Cape Town City player, like, Mr.
It was always like Lamela on the weekend.
Wrong arm.
Yeah, but okay. Let's get into it.
Were you a tennis player at your time at one point? Because I've noticed your hand speed is quite incredible. You play a lot of the.
Only in the street. We used to make those wooden bats. You used to like, obviously we make a long handle for just to make you feel like you're hitting a proper, because when we grew up we didn't see rackets, we had to make those things. We saw it on TV, and we had massive Wimbledon actually tournaments in the streets, massive ones. We used to take those clay rocks and drew the lines there in the middle of the road. Obviously, played massive games there. So no, that was beautiful times. You don't see that anymore, though.
We don't. I think we'll be reported to the council if that happens.
So
Yeah.
Henry, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
I have to ask you: is there something special in the water in the Western Cape, especially where you're from? Because there's quite a few gifted athletes that come from the Boerland, particularly.
Yeah.
Is there something? Is it what is it about the area that just has a habit of producing fantastic athletes? I mean, Brayton Polter is from there, as we know. Omar Henry,
Yeah.
who we interviewed a few weeks back, is also from there. What is it
Justin,
about?
Rosatella Marcus, Charles
Right.
Langeveld, I can mention plenty.
Yeah.
I think like I said now, how we grew up, tennis, we played tennis, played football, soccer, we made our own posts, we made our own wickets in the middle of the street. We used to find by the river, we used to make wickets, like pitches basically. Not rolled, we got like rocks and stamped the ground together, make cricket wickets. And I think we grew up outside.
So you literally piled rocks and you put it on the road and you made a big
Yeah.
shot of it.
Yeah,
You put a
something like
piled
that.
rock on the road.
Yeah, we grew up
Yes,
outside. I think
anyway.
that's the way we grew up. We tried to play all different types of sports. Like obviously we saw the stuff. We didn't really. Well, the only sports that was at our schools were rugby and cricket and athletics. So you watch a little bit of TV if you were spoiled enough to have TV back then, and saw different types of sports, and then you wanted to do it. And I think that's how we grew up. We taught ourselves how to do certain things. It's like with me now with golf as well. I've never had a coach in my life. I saw things, I hated it in the beginning, and then I tried to figure things out for myself. So now I play a lot of golf with no coaching.
You did a tutorial in Scotland. You mustn't lie. Yes, I seen you. I seen you teeing off there, Henry, on Instagram. Come here with your Alfred Daniel shirt there. Middling it so
but that's what I
nicely.
said. It's like with no coaching, and exactly I think with all different types of sports, like you say, the talent that is coming out of that region is because most of the guys, I think, still, they grow up outside, they teach themselves how to do certain things, and back then we had awesome role models in the guys like Henry Williams, Omar Henry, and those are the guys we look up to and we wanted to model ourselves on. And it was lekker, you go outside, you play massive games, Boerstraat against Honeststraat, you play rugby, soccer, cricket, and I think that's where the competitiveness also came from. You want to do well, you want to be the best cricket player in your small town. I come from Pinel, which the population is 4,000 people. That's small, and but in that population we've produced 2 old like Saru rugby players and 3 Protea cricket players, 1 lady and myself and Henry Williams. So for a small town like that, I think it's a massive accolade.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oops. Sorry.
Khalid is muting me.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to move it. I want to
Like
ask
a
you.
news anchor. You're like, just a mute.
Sorry, man. So, I want to ask you, so you said that you obviously not watching a lot of TV, but you had the heroes of kind of like your towns or kind of your area. But was it just as kids you just fell in love with sport in general?
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily one specific one.
No. I played all different types of sports. Funny enough, I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I threw javelin at school because I threw a lot of rocks when I was growing up, breaking windows and stuff. I played rugby. I was contracted by Boland, and I still play rugby. I wasn't allowed to play rugby, but I sneak out of the house to go play rugby for my club, for Villages, Pina Villages. I think you probably should know the name. I played for them. I played for the first team then when I was in matric, So that's a massive achievement in a small town because it's a rugby town basically. So for a lady that's in matric, 18 years old, to play first team rugby for the club, it's massive. So for me, that was nice.
Were you scrummy?
No. I played fly off.
Fly off.
I played fly off at school. Yeah, all cricketers play fly off. But yeah. So just it's a lot of pride in small towns, and I think with coming from Pinel as well, people following now, even until today, people will phone you, how you doing? And when I go home, it's like, it's a nice welcome, to see people look up to you. For me, it's a privilege because I see myself as a decent enough role model for the younger kids, because I personally feel we don't have enough role models. That's why we are where we are as a country, from the top, from the top to the sport level, from government to sports level as well, because we don't have enough role models. And I think if we can step up with that a little bit, if you can have an influence on someone next to you, a good influence, and then you've achieved something. Not obviously we all want to achieve something in different spheres of life, but if you can influence someone next to you to make them see something better for themselves, then that's the biggest achievement you can achieve for the
I have to ask Henry, so were you like a running fly-off or you like a tactical kicker? You know,
all
because
sorts.
Khalid he's a closet All Blacks fan. I know he's got a Dan Carter poster in his room. You know,
Yeah, you know, Christian
Cullen.
Cullen was my role model. I love
He's
Christian
good,
Cullen, just the
yo.
way he played cheaper. So I was one of those flyers that was like fit for the ball. I didn't like passing. You know, you want to be the main. You want to be the main guy all the time, and you get hurt a lot.
You were like Carlos Spencer.
Oh, jeepers. I tried to be. I remember, like, with my old school teacher, we played against Van der Stelde one year. That's my first year out of school. My second year, and he ran with his knee into my back to show us, I'm still the teacher, and you're the kid. You're the scholar. Yeah, it was great old days.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. And what made you want to make that switch to cricket eventually? Because I mean, obviously you realized you had more options on your available to you as far as sporting codes go. But what actually pushed you? You know what? Maybe cricket is the right sort of direction to go to. I mean, is there a person or mentor who ushered you in that direction?
My dad said he's going to throw me out of the house if I go play rugby again. That's what. Well, I was in hospital, obviously. I was taken to, in that specific game, I was taken to hospital with an ambulance.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, because I couldn't move because my disc just moved a little bit in my back. And you know, the older parents, there was no sympathy there, and he didn't even come to hospital. He said in a very firm way that you're done with rugby.
Yeah. And that was like I told you so type of thing. Like they warn you before and don't play at all.
Yeah. Was it very, very, very firm way?
Was it like a high tackle or something? How did you get injured?
No, look, as the ball fell, I ran, slid to cover the ball, and he just ran with his knee into my back. And I think obviously, like Luke, the old rugby days, it was messy though. People you get stomped on, and it's all part of the game. Then, yeah, it's scrappy, and I don't think he like really meant for me to go with the ambulance to hospital. It's just part of the game, and it was one of those things that happened.
Now,
and you
to
learn.
Give the youngsters some context, the youngsters are watching the show. That's before the days of
That's before there's high tackles, there's clothes, there's short arm jabs, everything. There's a proper face or alles.
Handbags, lots of handbags.
Yeah, I just saw a clip now. Ursula Junkies, Ursula Junkies is like it's next to Pinel. Pinel and Calmo is next to each other basically. Yeah. So it's two small towns, very very similar, massive competition sporting wise as well. Ursula Junkies also is my neighbor basically.
Yeah, let me just tell the fans out there, you guys are putting your questions in. We will get to the questions later on in the show after Ravi does his full in-depth dive into his life. And then we'll get and then we'll get the comments in. So get your comments in now, we will talk about it later. And guys, also don't forget obviously to like, subscribe and all of those things now. Share this because it gets into other people's feeds that way. So go take it away, Alex.
So Henry, just so you know, I just wanted to extend a very belated congratulations. I know it's almost a year since that match-winning innings for the Paul Rock, 77 or 41 balls. You're hitting the ball, you're seeing it like a beach ball, man. I know Khalid spoke to you that night. What was going through your mind at the time? I mean, were you saying, you know, screw what people are saying? Did somebody chirp at you on the field? Did the ABN and company say something to you? And you were like, nah, come on, I'm going to start showing you something here. What was it?
Basically, we played against the Spartans, which is basically a Titans team, you know, ex-Titans players that also played there. And the previous game in Pretoria, myself and Mornay Morkel, we didn't have words. I just didn't like the send-off he gave me. And he was obviously their best bowler. And I knew, look, I like things I like challenges like that when a guy comes and he gives you a bit of nonsense, and I know I can cover it, you know. So I said, look, eventually I'll get him back because I had a feeling we're going to play in the final as well. But before that, the day before, myself, my wife, and the kids, they were all we played in Joburg, and we drove with a car, obviously for the holiday to Cape Town. And we were on some wine farm, and I just had a feeling, and I said, listen, watch me tomorrow. I had a couple of those feelings in my career, and I knew, look here, something special is going to happen. It's probably meant to be something that had to happen, because I'm from Pinnell, I'm from Boland. I started playing my senior cricket there at Boland Park. My whole family was there. I could feel my late dad was there as well, because he had a specific corner back in the day where he used to sit. Like you said, family, friends, because it's Boland, it's a very special place. It's got a very special place in my heart, because of being a smallish union, but for what they've achieved over the years and the cricketers they've produced, I don't think they've gotten the accolades that they should have gotten in South African cricket. And I think, like you said, we just mentioned now, the players, the talent that comes through out of that area. There's a lot of people talk about hubs and stuff, but I do feel that the Boland area should be a hub for South African cricket, because of the talent that comes through there. Like, well, they throw a lot of money around in the wrong places. That's one place they can put money into.
More money, more problems. You should have played that song rather, Khalid. More money, more problems.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you spoke about Boland, and you mentioned some memorable names, particularly you mentioned Henry Williams, Roger Tiller, Marcus. Boland used to play in a grey kit back in the day in the Standard Cup, and the local derbies were always the best matches to watch. Western Province against Boland. And the Boland team had some really strong contenders. You had Adrian Caper, who was in the middle of the order. You had Claude Henderson. Yeah. You had some really strong.
Lloyd Ferreira opened the batting. Was one of the most underrated opening batters. You obviously went to play for Western Province after that.
Yes.
Paul Froman played. Steve Paul Bradley played. Yes, I've got a good memory actually.
Bradley played.
Kenny Jackson. Yeah, Kenny Jackson. Kenny Jackson played for us still. We had Vinod Kambri that played for Boland. It was Pravin Amre actually. That was the year with the great kids.
Yes, in fact, Sam Curran's dad played for Boland as well.
Yes. Kevin Curran.
Curran boys, you're wondering how good they were at cricket. You should have seen their dad. The old man was an absolutely brilliant player.
Very good all-rounder, cheapest. Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you had to be at the derby, I mean, whether it was at Newlands or at Paul Stadium, it was absolutely, the atmosphere was incredible. It was you'd hear some very strange things from off the field, but
look at they straightforward. They're straightforward. They say it as it is.
Absolutely.
You would rather want to be on their side than against them. And I've seen a lot of players that will like just hint that they want to talk back. Don't do it. Don't bother, because you're going to come second.
That's it. That's exactly it. Khalid, at this juncture, are there any questions from the fans, from the guys in the group?
Yeah, there's loads. But not everything is in the order that we're speaking at the moment. So I will ask some random things a little bit later. I'm just looking for some that have something to do with what we're talking about right now. Bai is very active. He's obviously asking already about your switch from the Cobras to the Titans, but we're not there yet. Let's just talk a little bit more about from going from Boland to the Cobras and that particular switch, and what happened there in that period. How did you feel when you finally got that opportunity to play for the Cobras?
Yeah, obviously with Boland and the Cobras in 2004, that's when the franchise system started. So we all knew the year before, listen, we're going to go from 11 provinces to 16. So we knew the spots were limited, and luckily for me, I was busy with a decent season for Boland back in that last year. So I got offered a contract with the Cobras, and I knew, look, you had also Gibbs, you had JP Dumini coming through, you had all the international, then the whole international batting lineup came from Western Province. So I knew, listen, I'm going to go play there. I'm going to be for me, it was going to be a learning curve, but I didn't just I wanted to play. That's why I was going to go there. It would have been easy to go to Gauteng, to a Northerns back then, because looking at it, there wasn't a lot of players of color given opportunity back then. So that's where but for me, speaking to my dad, he was basically someone that I can fall back on to regarding my cricket. And for me, it was, listen here, if you stay at the Cobras, you're gonna in. When you play, and if you play, you're gonna play because you are the best in that position, not because you're gonna go to somewhere else. You're gonna play because you're a player of color or something. So even back then, we played 7, 8 players of color in the Cobras team, and that's all the merit, So that just gives you that extra confidence. So almost like an accolade to know personally, listen here, you here because you deserve it, because a lot of things happen these days with color and thing, and there's a lot of emphasis being put on players of color. But when you grow up with that label and you get tagged with something, it is tough to shed it, basically. So and I feel for people. Well, that's a different story now. Yeah, but with the Cobras, when the guys left, then I got my chance. When the Ashley Gibbses, when the Graham Smith, when the HD Ackermans, when they played for South Africa, that's when I got my chance. And it's easy just to go into okay, yeah, you're just gonna play 1 or 2 games, and then you're gonna play for Boland in the amateur team again. So for me, I sat down and I said, listen, I want to play. And luckily for me, the things worked out. I got runs, and then Shooks was coach in the second year or something, or the third, second or third. Peter Kirsten was coach for the first year. And I didn't play a lot in the first year. From the second year onwards, I played a couple of games, and then I sat down with Shukri, and Shuk for me was one of the best coaches that I've worked with. And he said, actually, what is your plan? And I said, Shuk, I don't want to be a full-in guy all the time. I want to be one of the main guys in this team. And he's like, how are you going to do it? I said, well, I'm going to score runs. That's the only way to do it. I'm going to work on my fitness. I was always, I call it lazy. Okay, I could get away with my fitness test because I was naturally fit. I was say you can call it a natural athlete. So you get away with your fitness. So I didn't work hard enough. And then I just switched something, and I said, okay, I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be strong. And then I'm just going to be ready when the opportunity comes, So, and it worked for me. And even when the guys came back, when Ashley Gibbses and the other worlds came back, there was also this, he's been informed, so I can't just drop him. So that was like it, because I knew I'm there because I deserve it, and it was a nice challenge.
Yeah, you touched on players of color, and a lot of the younger generation don't really understand it. They hear about the quota system and they think they understand what it means. Can you maybe give, especially for you in your generation, your time coming up as a cricketer? I mean, I've always had this assumption or this opinion that cricket is a very difficult sport to play for players of people of color, and they come from their difficult backgrounds because of the expenses that comes with becoming a batsman, etc. Can you give us some insight into what it was like as a player of color coming through the system, and did you get that chance to have that dream of that, to put it on your wall and like say, look, I want to become a South African cricketer? At what point did you feel that was possible, that was in touching distance of you?
To be honest, I obviously went to the title in 2010, but like 2-3 years before that, I was a leading run scorer in South African first-class cricket. Not a lot of people know that I actually got a little bit of runs in first-class cricket as well. But that was basically a turning point, where I could see, listen, I'm good enough because I am competing with the best in the country. And talking about the players of color, the tag that gets put on your head basically when you play professional cricket, and it's actually a sad thing, but it is what it is. It's South Africa, that system is there, but you as a player, you need to be strong. I think these days it's almost, if you're a player of color, it's if you get tagged, you play with a lot more pressure than anything else. Probably the worst thing that could have ever happened in South Africa, to say, listen, you need targets or whatever they want to call it, because you label people. You go out there and know, listen, even though you're good enough, and I've been playing for 20 years now. I'm going to go into my 21st year of professional cricket, and even in my latter years of my career, I still felt, listen, even though I've performed so well over the years, you still feel, why? You still feel that you're playing because you colored, and that's a sad thing. For me, it was the biggest motivator to show, even though you're the best batsman in the team, you get all the runs. It always pushed you to show, listen, you're here because you deserve it, and you need to be very strong mentally to get over that, basically. And I think a lot of guys that you can see, if you look in the last 15 to 20 years, guys that didn't go further, and I promise you 80% of that was because of that tag.
Yeah. Okay, so on a lighter note, and you can see already that Ravi's already laughing over here, but okay, he's going to get on to the next question, but let's get one from over Henry. He says, ask Henry about his mother's cakes.
Yes, look, mother's side business. She bakes cake for a living, basically. To get the from whenever. And she used to, whenever they come, he'll ask, listen, yeah, tell your mom that she must bake cake for us there to have at Boland Park. And coach, was obviously one of my coaches growing up. My dad used to drive me to Stellenbosch to go get some private coaching. I just see his name getting up there and obviously talking about the cakes, where my dad made me walk home the one day, because I was messing around a bit. From Stellenbosch to Pinel is, well, he did pick me up halfway. It's 12 kilometers or something. So he said, listen, are you walking home because you're effing around?
With your kids? With your kid, Alice?
No, he took the kid, luckily. So I had to walk from Marty's.
Okay.
Like Marty's Indoors was in the bush. I had to walk from there down through town, and I think he just watched me walk from somewhere. Though. Yeah, so yeah, but my mother's cake, she's a baker. She's a baker till today.
Okay.
My mom turns 70 next year, and she still bakes cakes. It's good genes.
I have to ask Henry. So I'm going to take you a little bit forward. You concluded your career with the Cobras in the 2009-2010 season, and you moved across to the Titans. But prior to that, there was one last hurrah with the Cobras when you guys went to the Champions League, the inaugural IPL Champions League.
Yeah.
In India, of course, where you got to face some of the best franchise teams in the world. You faced head-to-head with one of my favorite teams, the Trinidad and Tobago team, which incidentally had 6 guys that made a debut in the IPL the following year.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Because there were some crazy stories about that semi-final match. Cape Cobras versus Trinidad and Tobago, one of the best games I've seen.
It was probably one of the better experiences that I've had. The whole tournament, obviously, the Champions League was unbelievable. We played. I can remember very, very well. I dropped 2 catches that game. One of Claude Henderson, and one of a seamer, I think, Lendl Simmons. I think I dropped him twice in that game. And
I remember.
Yeah, no, we played in Hyderabad. We played 2 games there, and we were shitting ourselves basically, because in the field the lights, we're not used to low lights. It's like in the streets, so it's very, very low. I remember the first day, so Shooks actually asked the senior for the curator at the place for us to have a day, like a night session for field, just to get used to it. And you wouldn't believe it, we were missing the ball, not by 2 meters, by 10 meters. The ball, we were catching the ball here, the ball landed 10 meters either in front of you or behind you. That's how scary it was. And growing up, I was myself and Justin Ontong, we were the guys that dropped the catches. Like, we were probably one of the better fielders in the team, And during that game, I was like, "Yo, Ontus, we in trouble here," because it was so difficult to judge what pace the ball is coming to you, like where the ball is going because of the lights, and then it wasn't fun. But it was obviously very disappointing. The team we had, the way we played the whole tournament. We beat RCB the first game in Bangalore, where I didn't know what to do. I got runs that game, but as we fielded first, it was the opening game, and I thought it was an earthquake, but it was the people making noise. That was probably one of the best experiences I ever had, where you can feel the ground just shaking, and unbelievable. You can feel the ground shaking underneath you. And like I said, obviously that Trinidad and Tobago team we played against, they had Kieran Pollard, the young Kieran Pollard. I've never seen someone as quick as that ever in my life on a cricket field. Justin Ontong is quick. Nah? And Kieran Pollard was chasing balls down and stopping balls. And I was like, nah, what's happening here? These guys are smoking ganja or something here on the field. No, it's unbelievable. And just the way they played, like, I was privileged enough to go to the CPL, and people talk about India is talented in cricket. Obviously, they are talented cricketers.
You played for the Zooks.
Yes, I played for the Zooks for 2 years. And I promise you, for me, the most talented sportsmen come out of the West Indies. Just
Mm.
they're just natural athletes. You go there, like myself and Raul, we landed on the island in St. Lucia, so we had to drive to the other side to get to where we're based.
Oh.
And it's through the woods basically, so you got to go slowly. And some of the guys come out of the woods with bananas and coconuts and everything, because it's hard labor there. That's how you live,
Yeah.
And it's old topies, no? Kaal kop, little bit of hair here, 6 packs. I was like, no, what's happening here? And I was astonished just by the physiques that's walking around there. Guys, natural. There's no gym. It's hard labor, If you look at the guys that works on the building sites here in South Africa, they've never seen a gym in their life, but they build like guys in a gym every day, and that's how the guys are being brought up in the Caribbean as well. It's hard labor. They love sports. They're just natural athletes. Oh, unbelievable.
Brings up an interesting question actually, because seeing Ravi comes from that area, who did you support then?
What are you doing here?
No, long story. I think we need to Legends of Ravi starring Ravi.
I would love to. Oh, that's a big one. It's unbelievable.
We call it chasing the moon with Ravi. But like a make requirement,
Yeah.
But to answer Abai's question, I was of course back in Trinidad and Tobago, but it was a difficult one. For me, it was like a local derby because I grew up in Cape Town. Cape Town is my home city. Even when leaving there 2 years back for Joburg, it was like, shucks, I'm leaving Cape Town. That's my home, All my buddies are still there, So it was tough because, a lot of my friends used to play cricket with Rory Kleinfeld and stuff, and he did very well in the tournament. So legitimately, I wanted him to persevere, and apparently, I may be wrong. I wrote this down, but I believe he won a car. But unfortunately,
he did.
He didn't have a license.
We played. Who came here? I think it was Rajasthan Royals, because the Cobras had something with the Rajasthan Royals. So they came. That was when the tour. I don't know if they toured here, if the tour was here, and he was man of the match at Newlands, and he won the car, and he gave the car to his dad.
Yes, that's
something
right.
Like that, yeah, because we had a thing in our contract. If you man of the match, 50% goes to the team. So he put half the money, the value of the car, something like that, into the team kitty.
No, that was incredible. I'm pretty sure that was the Champions League the year before, because I remember they said, "Hey, Rory, it's just Suzuki," and they were saying something in Hindi to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't drive." So that was the end of that transaction.
And I wonder if he still. He can't drive still. I don't know if he has a license. I'm not sure, because look here, I've been roommates with Rory for 7 years when I was at the Cobra still. We've been roommates for 7 years, and he was like, so I had to drive from Pinyal. From Pinyal, I had to go pick him up at his house to go to training.
No, man, and he's in Lansdowne somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I had to go pick him up there, and then we go to training. He said, "Yeah, why just take a taxi? I must come I must come from over the mountain." That was unbelievable. It's a very good friend of mine, and we had awesome times together.
Yeah, but I mean, you brought up over there Shukri, and before I go back to Ravi again, I want to ask you about Shukri, because I mean, from what I've noticed from him, phenomenal coach, like you said so.
Yeah.
And I was very excited when I heard the news that he's going to be the SA under 19 basically coach and head of that academy, etc. And I mean, I think that when I talk to guys like Matthew Brzezinski and the youngsters that come through the system, they've all spoke highly of him. What made him such a special coach to you? You mentioned that he's one of the best coaches that you've ever played under. What makes him so special?
Okay, he's like those guys that sits there in Paul watching cricket. They say it as it is, and that's a good thing of Shooks. There's no stock is dry. He says it as it is, which is good. He's straightforward. If you're messing around, he's going to tell you, listen, you're messing around. But he gives you that confidence in your game. I remember the one game myself and JP we played in Northwest against the Lions or something. So the last day we had to get plenty. I think 340 in the last day. Even though it's a good wicket, and we walked out, and he said, listen, yeah, we had 1 wicket down, or 2 wickets down. Yeah, I was batting 3, JP was batting 4. So myself and JP batting, and he said, listen, I want you to be arrogant. And It's like, yo, what do you mean that I must be arrogant? I don't know, because I don't see myself as an arrogant person, It's like, what do you mean? I said, no, I want to be arrogant. I said, no, but just explain to me. I want you to walk out there and play and go out there and enjoy ourselves. And we won the game with the hour and a half to spare in the day. But just small things, him giving you the backing and giving you that confidence and helping you to be you. I think that is probably the easiest, not the easiest, the toughest thing to realize, because I want to be like you, I want to be like Ashwood Gibbs, I want to be like this, and then if you don't know who you are, so that's why you don't know who you are as a cricketer at the end of the day as well. So for me, that was awesome, like how he approached that phase in my career, and it definitely helped a lot.
Okay, Ravi.
I remember seeing, this is random, but I remember seeing a old clip where Wayne Parnell tried to bowl a short one to you, and you danced down the wicket. Not only you danced, you started the thing.
It's like a flat bat on the roof, through the
Flat
roof.
batted over, and landed, and I promise you guys, Google the stuff. It went through the goddamn roof. This auntie was eating a chicken a la king, and baba, there was a ball that went through the goddamn roof, and she got a script, but she kept on eating afterwards.
Yeah, that was in East London. East London. We played against the Warriors in East London.
Yeah, the
was
hospitality box never gets action. Thank you for doing that for them. I mean,
No, I think they just needed a bit of a wake up because they were in the brandies and everything.
Well, what did you and Wayne have a chat about that afterwards? What did you have to say?
No, we had I think that year we were in the SA team together as well. So we had great fun. I think we were roommates for when we played against Sri Lanka. So no, we had great fun together as well. And I know, look, he's a fighter as well, and he's always up for a challenge. And I love it. It's always, it's been my downfall a lot of times in my career when the main bowler comes in. And I always saw myself, I want to take the main bowler down. And for them, he was also the main bowler then. And I said, okay, no, I'm gonna come at you. So it came off for that day.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that's generally what you expect to hear from an opening batsman as well. You want to take on the main bowler. You want to set the precedent. You don't want the bowler to do that for you.
Yeah.
Then you're in trouble. One thing I picked up is that you did a GoPro session where you were facing Morkel, Morris, and you're saying, this is the ball that's coming up next. I found it quite remarkable. And you were basically 99% right of every single ball that was coming. Outswinger coming up, short one coming up. That's crazy. Now I have to ask you, what is it like trying to guess Vernon Philander?
Yeah. To Vernon Philander, I know obviously the length is bowling. It depends on the wicket. If the wicket is good, then it's slightly easier. If it's nipping around, then you're in trouble. Like I know we played in Benoni the 1 year. And we had the groundsman said, listen, we had the Cobras have Rory Kleinveld, they have Vernon Philander, Justin Kemp, and Oti Lowe. Johan Lowe was their bowling attack. And we said, listen, we need a gravel wicket. We need a road, no grass and nothing. Because obviously that's the best seeming bowling attack in the country. And I was still captain then. And we got to Benoni that Thursday morning, and I couldn't see the wicket. I was like, what's happening here? So I woke up and Matt Maynard was the coach there by us still. I was like, Matt, what's happening here? Where's the groundsman? He's like, no, I couldn't prepare. We had rain and stuff. So it was a green wicket. Lost the toss. They bowled us out for 140. Thanks for coming. Vern was bowling, and I was standing a meter and a half out of my crease just because for him not to get me out WW. But obviously, you're going to nick you off. It doesn't matter if you stand next to him. Still going to nick you off on a wicket like that.
No, definitely.
No, white ball cricket is actually a little bit because the ball don't swing as much. White ball swings for 2 balls, and then that's done. The ball don't seam, and then you can go off the bowlers. And I know what length they're bowling as well. So, like a guy like Vern, so then we can go after them.
Absolutely. I think we can go into some questions there, Khalid. We've got quite a few from Abai, Aditya, and we addressed Omar Henry and his baking order there. I'm sure he's a lemon meringue kind of guy.
Yeah, let's get into one of Abai's questions. A very interesting one is, He wants to know, you played a couple of ODIs and a few T20Is for SA. Favorite moments from the international cricket?
My debut series. My debut series was against New Zealand. And I hear I don't know if you were a New Zealand supporter. I was also a New Zealand rugby supporter back then. So we played against New Zealand. That was my favorite series because I was man of the series. I scored the most runs. Uh, I had the record for the most runs in a bilateral series, something like that. But listen to the story. So the first game is in Durban. So obviously you sing the anthems, and then the New Zealand anthem comes on, and I'm humming it here. And someone, I can't remember who stood next to me. It's like, hey. So I was humming the New Zealand anthem. And like I said, I was still an All Black supporter, the rugby, obviously.
Yeah.
But then a couple of years after that, my daughters, they were at school, obviously, and they came home and they both sang our South African anthem. And I said, no, I can't support the All Blacks anymore. I'm South African. And yeah. I've got to take them forward. Eh?
Yeah, just to get it clear, I've never supported the All Blacks ever. Just to get it clear. I didn't go through that.
I mean, I can see the Dan Carter poster right there.
I loved Dan Carter. I'm not gonna lie. I read Dan Carter because the first time I played rugby, when I went to Rondebosch, the first time I played rugby was in grade 8. So I never played primary schools. I knew nothing about the rugby whatsoever, and now I have to play rugby for the first time. I decided to pick the most difficult position on the field and play fly off. So I obviously didn't know how to play it, so I took out books from the library. Obviously, I took Johnny Wilkinson's book was out at the time, and I took watched videos of Dan Cott, and that's how I learned how to play fly off, basically. So I didn't know what to do. They actually lost.
This is a good choice, though.
I'll never forget to the trials. Everybody would, there's always chat.
You tried to do a stupid.
There's always those chat around the field. When you're doing the trials and you in grade 8, so you're all newbies. So nobody knows anybody. There's always those chats around like, oh, that guy's the best guy. He was the best at Rondebosch Boys Junior School, whatever. And so I was like always a person that wanted to ask for help. Like, this is who I was, man. I never knew.
Yeah.
So I walked up to him and I'm like, hey, I heard you like the best fly off. Like, can you give me some tips? And everybody started laughing at me, and I didn't understand why they were laughing at me. So the trials initially was it was 6-a-side. It wasn't a full game. So we played like Kopperstam, basically. So you played against each other, and then they basically picked you on your resilience, obviously your tackling and stuff like that. So one of the coaches came up to me and they asked me, like, don't you want to play flank? Like, you tackling, like, don't you want to maybe play flank? So I'm like, no, I want to play fly off. I want to play fly off.
That was a good choice.
So I make it to the final trials, like the final trials of like A and B team. They put our names up. I'm like, yes, I made it to the final trials. So basically you play the curtain raiser for the trials for the first team. So everybody comes and watches the game. Yeah. So they bring me on for the last 20 minutes. And the ball was placed down and they didn't blow the whistle yet, right? So like I thought they didn't blow the whistle yet. And my friend also didn't think that they blew the whistle yet. So he walked towards me and they gave me the ball. So then he was walking towards me, but I was obviously facing him. So he's like, just give the ball here, I'll hold on to it so long. So I threw it to him. And then, but the whistle already gone, so it was a forward pass, and the guy tackled him on the field. So then they were like, "What you doing?" So I was like, "I don't know." And they gave me the ball. They told me kick it. I had a horrible trial. So obviously I had to work my way. They put me in the C team after that, and then I had a good opening. And then I went and I learned. I was like, no, I need to learn what this is about. Went to the field, learned kicking and stuff. So I started off very, very, very badly. I had a horrible opening time as a player. But let's get back into you, Henry. This show is about you. Let's talk about that switch. I mean, obviously you've become completely a Titans legend at the moment. I think one of the best players for the Titans over the last couple of years, and all the players that I've spoken to have spoken so highly about you, especially Aiden Markram, who you've opened with and stuff like that. So we'll get into that partnership and some of the innings that you guys shared, etc. Obviously record-breaking ones, but that switch from the Cobras to the Titans, was it purely just for more opportunity and or a different scenery, or what was the reason for it?
There was a lot of things that happened that last year. Contract talks, I got given a contract, then the contract got taken away because some other player was going to come, and then I got given a contract again, and I decided, okay, that's probably a sign that I need to go, and I had opportunities to go to
Mm.
other franchises as well. And for me, the best decision was the cricketing decision to go to the Titans. And obviously, I was very, very sad because I saw myself finish my career in Cape Town, at the Cobras, being from the Western Cape. And but it did, like you say, at the end of the day, it was meant to be. The switch had to come. It was the best thing that I could have made personally for my cricket, for my family, for everyone around me. Myself, my wife, we've grown so much. Our kids are born here in Pretoria. We've got a great life here. So I'll come back one day. I'm not sure when, but one day I'll come back because I do honestly feel that I still have a lot to offer in the Western Cape, in cricketing areas and elsewhere as well. But yeah, like I said, it was almost like that last year I was not stagnating, but I didn't also enjoy my cricket as much as I should have. I can't put my finger on why. Maybe because I needed a change. I needed a kick up the arse, basically. The way I did things, and when I came to the Titans, it was a rude awakening, to be honest. I started training with the guys at first preseason. Like, this is not something that I used to. It's just a different way of doing things, a different way of seeing things, and you had to, the mental switch had to come. I think if it wasn't for coming here, I wouldn't have been able to play cricket at the age of 40. To be honest.
Yeah. Also, also the altitude as well. But what I want to ask you about is basically, it's one thing touring, like Pretoria, when you come from Cape Town. Like, it's okay for me personally, when I go on tours and stuff like that. It's nice to be there for like a couple of days, 2 days, 3 days. But when you had to change your whole life from, obviously you Cape Town, there's the sea, there's so much over here.
Yeah.
Like, the life is so different. Was it
It's a
difficult to
total different
settling in?
lifestyle.
Was it difficult settling in at the beginning?
Total different lifestyle. But I think the best thing was, when we look at, we were pregnant. We were 6-7 months pregnant when we moved up here. So it was also it was different. I had a family to look after. It's a new beginning, basically. So we grew almost together. We grew into it. Grew into the lifestyle. I love Pretoria. I love Pretoria at the moment. The winters are unbelievable. I phoned home the other day and my mom's like, the whole Western Cape is blowing away, and it's raining, it's cold, and I'm honest, it's not something that I'm missing, the wind and the rain. Yeah, in Pretoria there is no wind. The winter is unbelievable. We had the last 5 years, we probably had 10 cold days in the winter.
Sure.
From 10 o'clock, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. The winter is unbelievable. It's perfect golfing weather. We can have a cricket season here. I think the guys from Durban must come play the winter. All the games must come play here. Because summer there's no cricket in Durban.
That's for sure.
No, the lifestyle is unbelievable. Like I said, I had to adapt. I had to change my ways, not personal life, but in cricketing terms. The way I trained. Now I think I'm in my second midlife crisis. I'm the first guy in the gym. I'm the first guy in the gym now. I train basically. I train my ass off at the moment. I can still run with the young pups, and that's something that I enjoy. For me, I keep on challenging them. I say, listen, when you guys are 40, I'm gonna come and look you up and see what you guys look like. Because for me, the guys will say, keep inspiring us. And for me, it's a nice challenge, to show them that. If you really want to do something, you can do it. You are the only guy that's steering your ship, no one else. You can have sitting in a corner saying, listen, you have to do this way and do that. But if you don't want to buy into it, then it's not going to happen at the end of the day.
Yeah. So there are more questions, but they're more about the future of cricket in South Africa. So let's wait for those ones, and then let's Ravi go on to more about the Titans.
What do you want me? I don't have a poster of the Titans. That's what I'm not like devoted to the Titans like you devoted to Dan Carter. What you?
You know what I would ask. The first question I would ask. I'm a big fan of Aiden Markram, so that's obviously a question that I'm going to ask you. The talent that has come through the Titans and being able to play in a dressing room with so many top players around you, and then still keeping your spot and keeping your level so high over the years consistently. It doesn't matter what format you play. Even when you played for the Rocks, you've kept your consistent no matter what stars are around you. How did you do that? And what is it like to see those talents like Aiden Markram and Heinrich Klaassen and Theunis de Bruyn now coming through the system?
It's like you say. I speak to a lot of guys all around the country, and almost like, yeah, yeah, this lady again coming through, and this lady is coming through. I don't. It's a breeding ground for good sports, and I see even the Bulls are playing good rugby now at the moment. You know. No, but like you say, with the cricketers now, it's a perfect place to breed good cricketers. You know, for me also, it's like where you grow up. Being in Cape Town, you can't be outside in the winter. Yeah, you outside the whole winter, you're outside, and that's a big advantage. The competition that is in our change room, that's enormous. So for you to be part of the starting 11, or to get a Titans contract, it's if you get a Titans contract, it's a massive achievement on its own already. You know, so, and like you say, for guys like Aiden, Heinrich Klaas, and Tiennes de Bruin, I don't think they've achieved what they can still yet, because it's obviously they're still young, but they're exceptional cricketers. Not because I'm biased, because I've seen them basically from the start in the nets. You know, the way they train. You talk about Aiden. I'm also a massive Aiden fan, just because of the person that he is. You know, he's probably of the younger guys. He's a very, very respectable person. You know. It's almost like he'll come to me. I remember the first couple. He was almost like scared to speak to me because I'm Henry Davis and I've played for so long and
He's
all
a
that.
very shy guy.
Yeah, I know,
Very
weird
shy.
kind of guy. But even now, you know, he's like, oh, he's just a beautiful kid, and all of the guys, you know, and they always want to learn, they want to improve. The way the guys are training now, it's scary, but it's great to see. You know, the guys keep pushing each other, and I think that's why the Titans have always produced good cricketers, because the competition. Um, Guys coming through. Our captain now is Grant Thompson. He's been in our system for a lot of years now, but he hasn't played a lot because he was competing against Chris Morris, David Visser, Alvin Morkel. It's tough, you know. But it's tough. And if you look at batters now, I was playing golf with someone the other day, and we talked about guys that played in the amateur team that could have played in any other franchise team, but they couldn't make the Titans team because we had myself, I know, couldn't open the batting, Jacques Rudolph. Oh, I think it's the competition that draws you, and then to add with me is being consistent and still performing now is I've got an unbelievable drive for cricket. I've got a really, really massive passion for the game. You know, I love what I'm doing. And I always say to a lot of guys, the guys say, "Why been playing for so long? Why?" I said, "Oh, I love it. There's no other reason why. I love cricket. I have a massive passion for it. I'm still fit. I still perform. And I still can. I see myself as still adding a lot of value. You said South African cricket. How many experienced guys do you see now? You know, there's not a lot of experienced guys in South African cricket. I think that is a big negative at the moment. You know, even if you can go, for me it's sad. For me, I was privileged because I learned from experienced players. I learned from older guys. Now you've got to learn from a 30-year-old, which is not experienced. You know, and that 30-year-old probably played in his 10 years. He probably played 8 years amateur cricket. And you guys know what the level, not to be dissing it, but the level of our amateur cricket is not good, to be honest. You know, so you don't really learn a lot there because you can bully. I've seen it on numerous occasions. The guy come and play for some franchise, and you look at the board, he averages 60, and like, why are you not playing for South Africa? And you see him pass, like, okay, amateur cricket does it. You know, so and it's sad for Cricket South Africa. I think that's probably the worst thing they could have done. The amateur system is good, but you can't make it first class cricket because you're doing a disservice to the cricketer in the first place. You know, you come up and then you play against a decent cricketer and you see, okay, no, I don't belong here, or I'm going to struggle to fit in. You know, so there's a lot of things that adds to that. For me, it's obviously, like I said, the passion that I have, and just to show. A lot of people said in the past, okay, you can't do this. I love it when people say, no, Henry Davis can't do this.
So I want to ask you one more question about Aiden before I give it back to Ravi. It's based on our
comment there. There's a nice comment right at the end there.
Yeah, we will get to that one. But what we can talk about that a little later, that comment. But what I want to ask you is that because of our last issue of our magazine, we did a Vision 2023, where Aiden was on the cover, and I did a cover story basically on my experience first time talking to Aiden. It was before his first franchise series for the Titans. And I was speaking already about him as being the answer to our opening pair conundrum at the Proteas at the time. I thought that he should have been the opening batsman. They should have eased him in. I'm an advocate for very younger players being blooded in early so that they can learn from the experienced guys around them. Because I knew this situation that we have now is going to happen. Everybody's retired, and you have no more people of that are experienced around you anymore. And the youngsters are going to have to now come in here and learn from who, you know what I mean? Like they're only really okay. They have Dane Alga there now. Faf du Plessis, obviously with Test cricket, we don't know if he's going to. He's obviously not going to stay on anymore for Test cricket anymore. We don't know really what his decision is going to be with that. So a lot of the experienced guys have retired. Amla, Steyn, all of those guys have retired now. So I wanted to ask you about Aiden, because he obviously mentioned to me what his goals were and what he was going to do for the next season, and what you guys can go read the magazine article. I'm not going to tell you what the story was about. The link is on the screen and in the description. But I want to ask you, what was Aiden's approach that season? Because that season was massive for him to go on the run that he did. I think it was 5 matches in a row that he was like scoring at an alarming rate. He scored quite a bit of runs in that season. And then almost a year later, he's in the Test side, opening the batting for South Africa with Dean Alga. What was his approach? What sort of conversations did you guys have before that season?
Like I think the way he's playing now and the way he's playing then is very, very, very close to each other, you know, because he's extremely positive the way he plays, his approach. He works very, very hard. I think sometimes he's too hard on himself. He doesn't like failure, and I think it's to a certain extent it's good, but to a certain extent it's also bad for you. You know, you're gonna fail in this game. And for him, just the way he trains, the confidence he has, he's got a quiet confidence. You know, he's not a loud person. He does have the aura around him when he walks around, but he's not someone that's very vocal. Like say for instance, like a Graham Smith, you'll know the way he speaks. He's got a very stern voice and stuff. Like with Aiden, he's not soft spoken, but he's quiet. If you know what I mean. He's very chilled, if you can call it that. But he's got a inner confidence that's second to none. Basically, you know, he backs himself in what he's doing. And like I said, the hard work. Now with him training now, I've never seen him training as hard as he is training now, which is obviously a great sign for him, you know, going forward. I think obviously he wants to show, because in South Africa we have a very fickle support base, if we can call it that, because if you don't score runs for 2 games, then you must go play club cricket. You must go play club cricket or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're tough. We're a tough crowd. He'll come good. I think he's mentally strong enough. He's got a drive. He's got a hunger to do well, and he's just a lekker omen. That's why I love him to bits, and I know he's going to be successful because of the person that he is. For me, good things happen to good people, and he's one of those guys.
Yeah,
it's just one of those good things.
I think all we can agree that I'd like to see him as Test captain. I don't know, Eddie, what do you think? Does he have the capabilities in him?
Definitely. I definitely think he has the capability to be a Test captain, but it's like I said, if you don't score runs in South Africa for 2 games, then you must disappear, basically. So it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have to be supported through, and it could be a long road as well, you know, because basically for him it's almost he's at a stage where he has to start again. He has to start his international career again, you know, because he had a good run into Test cricket, and then he had a couple of failures. Now people say, no, you must do this, you must do that, and you're going to get a lot of advice along the way, but I think he's strong enough to make his own decisions, and eventually he'll stabilize his position again. And I think going forward, I think he'll be a very, very good Test. He's got a good cricket brain, and he's a respectable person, you know. People will listen to him. I think that's what you need.
Ravi, anything left from your side?
No. Otherwise, we're going to be here for another hour. But I have to ask you. I have to Aiden, sorry, Henry. You see, Khalid, you and your okay, Henry. What's next on in terms of what's the next chapter in your career? What's coming up next? I think from my point of view, watching you play that innings, that final against the Schwade Spartans, But I always I was going to say the Swanee Titans. Or a nice little legal letter in the morning. That's not who we are, Ravi. Anyway, that was an incredible innings, and for me, that sort of removed quite a few doubts. A lot of the dispersions that were cast in the beginning sort of dissipated after you scored those runs, the 77 or 41. What's next for you? I mean, are you thinking I can actually do the global game a little bit longer? I can possibly an IPL tenure, if you will. I mean, we saw guys like Tambe rock up at 44
In the
years of
CPL
age.
at 40. Yeah, I saw him play in the CPL. Is he not 46?
Is he
Something like
46?
that.
Oh my God, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, well, uncle.
Oh, Ravi, for me, it's I'm still like this year playing just one day cricket. The plan is to be the last year. And next year the whole system changes. Well, that's also talks. Who knows? It's cricket South Africa. You never know what's happening these days. Yeah, I've started my business in sports counseling. I've been like in between. Well, I'll advise younger guys, if there's younger guys listening, to don't stop studying. I've started studying again when I was 36 years old, and it was tough. It was unbelievably tough, but now I'm done. So I've done counseling and communication. So I opened my own business now with HD19 Sports Counseling. So I want to look. I love working with people, and for me, I can see myself helping people be better, and that is the goal going forward. Being a change. We spoke earlier about being role models, and I want to be part of that. I want to be like a mentor to younger people, and just to show that look, it doesn't matter who says what. My principal in matric said I'll never ever be a professional cricketer. I can call him now and say, listen, I've been playing for 21 years now.
Sure.
It's crazy. Alvira Peterson's teacher also told him the same thing. He had him on a show a few weeks back. He said exactly the same thing.
And it's just a challenge, when he said that, and I knew, and I was 15, I knew I was going to play cricket. That was my dream. I was going to play, and I was adamant, and I was clear, and even though I played all different types of sport, I knew I was going to play professional. I wanted to be a professional cricket player. And besides, like, not only with the counseling, which is I've got a massive passion for, helping people basically. I don't want to go into marriage counseling. It's more sports specific. More sports specific, and I'm busy now with my level 3 coaching badges as well. So it is that I've done executive coaching, which I can go into private business. So it's a bit of a licorice, all sorts, And so it's more people orientated, where I can help people be better, because I think that's something that we really need in South African sport. Not even sport, but society as well. And my goal is not to help you be a better sports person, but eventually help you as a person in the long run as well. So look, I'm really looking forward to it.
Is that across the board? It's not just for sports professionals. It's for all people.
Across the board. Yeah, for all people, like all different types of sports, to help them. Because look, as one thing with sport, with ups and downs, it's life. You can think today, look at the main O, and tomorrow you're not the main O, and that's all what life is about as well. People, our society now these days, because it's tough in South Africa, not even in South Africa, it's tough in the world, and I've seen a lot of people want to give up too quickly, and you, as a human being, as a person, you do not know how much you can offer, even if it's a small little bit. You can influence someone next to you. You can turn the whole the world around for someone. It's by a simple thing that you do. And I think that for me, that is my way forward with the coaching. I want to still be involved with cricket, because cricket has given me everything basically. But like I said, I can offer still a lot in cricketing terms as well. I don't see myself as a head coach, but more just helping around the fringes, and yeah, my main purpose want to be the sports counseling and the counseling and help and the mentorship and stuff like that, even if it's in business as well, because a lot of businesses go the sporting route, how you get teams work together, because that's what makes a business successful, is how you get people to work together. Even if I don't like you, I can still work with you, and that is success. It's not I've got to eat out of your hand and do whatever you think I should do. It's by finding that point to make something successful. You both go reach your end goal, even if you don't see eye to eye at the end of the day.
So I think we can end off with one fan question. Are you okay with that, Ravi?
Go for it. Go
Cool.
for it.
So the last one to end
Henry,
of the
hope
show
you
is Henry. What would you change about South African cricket and why? Something cricket related though, not the board room nonsense and stuff.
Oh dear. Besides the boardroom, we'll leave the boardroom for a later stage.
Yeah.
Look, for me, South African cricket, like I said, I've played all over the world. We've seen talent all around the world, our way how people play. And I look at South Africa and you see guys that is scary, scary talented. And the only, for me, for us to be the best, and I think we do have the players, we do have the facilities, we do have everything that will help us be the best, but it's only a mind change, where um, we are so conservative in the way we do our sports. When you listen to coaches and say, no, you must play the ball there, you must do this, you must do that. We don't let the natural ability of players come through. I think that's why the West Indies have won a couple of World Cups, because they allow the guys to let the natural ability come through. And for you to have an X factor is to let your natural ability come through. We are so book orientated in how we coach people. So no, we do. So we don't coach people. Actually, we coach cricket. You need to coach people, and to coach people, you need to understand the person. People need to understand me to get the best out of me, not my technique, or obviously you have to use a little bit of that. But if you know me and what makes me be good, or not what makes me be great, that's how you're gonna get the best out of sport in South Africa, and let it flow, because like the talent is there. We're scared to showcase our talent. I think that's how we can change South African cricket and be the best cricketing playing nation in the world.
Sure. So that was powerful. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Andrew, for coming on the show and sharing all your stories with me and with us and
Thank
with
you very
Ravi
much.
and with the fans
Pleasure.
and everybody out there. We'll obviously want to bring you on again so we can have another in-depth discussion, because I think we can go on for hours and hours, all of us here.
Anytime.
So thanks a lot.
Anytime.
Thanks a lot for coming on the show, and we'll speak to you again soon. And good luck for the new season.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Nah. Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
Henry.
Bye.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
So Ravi, what a show! I think a lot of lessons to learn, a lot of things to learn from India, of course, and I love your banter between the two of you. I mean, it's almost like you guys have been friends for years. It's really enjoyable to see that that to and fro between the two of you.
I think it's Henry's personality. He's actually a gem of a guy. He's I don't want to diss any of the other sportsmen, but he's probably been by far the most approachable sportsman I've engaged with. Since we started this journey, In fact, now there he is. He just sent me a message. Great show. Thanks for having me. What a humble guy. And I really, really wish him continued success. I'm very excited about his new ventures, especially along the lines of personal development and coaching. I think he's going to be a great success in that regard.
So thank you, Ravi, for coming on the show. Thank you again for this Legends with Ravi. To the fans out there, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for all the support that you've given us. As you can see, we are reaching that 1,000 subscriber mark, which we really need your help with to get there. So right now, the guys that are watching, click that subscribe button, click that notification bell for all future videos.
5 seconds, guys. Like
Yeah.
and subscribe. Share with your auntie.
Yeah, and like it. Smash that like button, because that's how we get into other people's feeds, and that's how we get into recommended feeds, etc. And comment and share and subscribe and do all of those things. Don't forget to download the latest issue of the magazine. We currently have an awesome issue available. We tell the story of Solo Nkweni, where he speaks about his fight through cricket, not just with his fight with, obviously, what happened with his health and the condition that he had, but also he's fighting cricket. He struggled in cricket as well, and how he came back from that. Some amazing series in there, some amazing episodes in there, obviously from our YouTube channel, and of course features that we have in there too. So download that magazine. The link is in the description and on the screen. There's also previous issues that you guys can also go and find out about. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care.